Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the Getting Started in My School Data. And this is designed around the Redesign site, which has launched at MISchoolData.org. I'm Dr. Jennifer Parker, and today my partner is Dr. Rhonda Provost, and today is December 3rd. The information that you will see today is current as of today's broadcast. If you are interested in following along in the slide deck, you can access that at tinyurl.com/MSD Getting Started, and it is case sensitive. Today's broadcast and all the materials you're going to see today are part of our Train the Trainer network. If you are a facilitator of all things My School Data and you are interested in having access to these materials and more, contact us after the broadcast and we would be happy to show you how to join the Train the Trainer network. Couple of people that are contributors to today's broadcast, as well as our professional development statewide. Besides myself and Rhonda, Kathy Miller and Christy Martin and Dr. Lisa Lockman are also a part of our ongoing creation of the materials that are here in today's broadcast. No matter where you are in the state, you have a leadership team that helps to kind of push resources out there. If you are familiar with the old TRIG regions, we have people who are in charge of your section of the state. And for more information about how to use My School Data or bring PD to your area, you can contact our regional advisory members that represent you in your part of the Michigan universe. Today's part of the webinar series, there are lots of other PD that we do. Just a couple of things. You'll notice that out on the My School Data website, there's a new PD toolkit that is evolving daily. Our Train the Trainer network is pushing stuff there all the time. So you can get in there and see videos and slide decks and data digs and oh my, as well as the ever popular news and notes that Dr. Provost puts out every month that goes out in our statewide network. That usually has tips and tricks if you're a facilitator and lots of coming soon or what's new. Today is available for sketches. If you are at the end of the broadcast, don't forget to click on that unique session attendance link and fill out your attendance as well as download the sketch form. And there are further directions after the broadcast. So the focus for today is we are just getting started with My School Data. So we are going to get in there and show you how to find things, how to navigate, what are the new terms and tools that are available there, the new dashboard and landing pages and menus, and a new thing called personas. We're also going to help you make connections between the old legacy site and the new, some of the new data that's been loaded and the reports, and this thing called a pinhole, which is how data will come from the old site into the new, as well as feed things like MyKIP and etc. And then hopefully we'll challenge you that after today's broadcast, you'll be just dangerous enough to go in and have some fun on your own. We're going to split the broadcast into 3 sections. We're going to define some things for you. We're going to connect them to some of the things from the old site and some things that you're familiar with. And then lastly, we're going to show you how to apply them. So let's get started with the overview. So you're familiar with the My School Data website. You are familiar with the fact that it is the Michigan Education Data Portal. It's got student information, it's got staff information, financial information that is pushed out about education to various stakeholders like parents and legislators. You probably know that most of the data that comes in is from a variety of Michigan acronyms, the FID, GAD, MSDS, STAR, REP, etc. And there's a new look and feel to the site. Besides the places that we pull the information in from, there are a couple things for you to realize. When you come to the site, there are certain things that are secure and there are certain things that are public. So you will see that My School Data has still done a very good job of protecting student names and information, protecting our student data unless you have access or privileges. The old site that you're familiar with, the legacy.myschooldata.org site, that is where that old site lives right now. It'll live there for about another month. The new site, the Redesign, has obviously taken over the domain called myschooldata.org. If there is for any reason, a reason that you might need to get to the old site, such as you're not seeing things or you're not familiar with where they are on the new site, you can still get there through the year 2020. Now there's a quick overview tip sheet that is here linked in the slide deck. And if you are responsible for facilitating some training, this might be a great resource for you. It basically takes you through a little bit of a tour of the home page, from the main menu to where to get support to how to sign in. There's a little search box. There's also some specialized home pages called personas. You're also able to locate using the map feature. And then there's report updates, which we used to have to dig for, and now they are right there on the homepage of MISchoolData. So this is a quick overview of the homepage itself, and that is a document that is attached in today's slide deck. So let's talk about how we get into MISchoolData. Well, it has been an adventure. Back in the spring of 2020, you probably started receiving emails and warning, Will Robinson, we need you to create a MyLogin third-party account. Because although the old site had its own way to log in, the new site is using the MyLogin system to push you into the new redesigned site. MyLogin is different than MyLogin third-party. Third-party accounts are specifically for educators. So what was done over the summer was that your old legacy login and your new MyLogin third party were connected, and we gave you access, and you should be magically able to log in. However, if you did not respond to those emails or create that MyLogin third party, you need to start over. You'll need to go to MyLogin for third party, create an account, and then contact your ISD, who will then locate you in their system and connect you on the backside. So it's just an extra step from what we are used to in the past. We're still doing FERPA, we're still contacting our ISD, we're still doing all that, but first create a MyLogin third-party account so that you are out there in the system, and when your ISD person goes in to find you, you are there. So that's a critical first step that a lot of folks are missing. If you don't need a login, you don't need to get to student level data, you don't want to have access to some of the additional resources, you probably can just go to MISchoolData.org. But our recommendation is, if you are a K-12 school person, if you are an educator or a school improvement person, you definitely want to have a secure login and access to the site. So I believe I'm going to turn it over to Rhonda, who's going to talk a little bit about what's new in the site that will be a change for you since the legacy.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. So what is new? Dr. Parker provided some snapshots of information that is really more convenient for you with the home page. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through some of these tools. We're going to explore and show you some of the new features in the search engine. I'm going to start with connecting. That is on the top menu bar. And with those connections are basically associations that are linked to anything that is school related in the education area, whether it be MDE, whether it be working on MSDS. This is a connection pull down menu that you can just click into and immediately have access rather than bookmarking all of these various entities. So this is a new feature that is very well appreciated. Then we move over to the education map, and for illustration purposes for today's broadcast, we have the map of Michigan there. And then we have also shared an example with you with Jackson Public Schools. So what you can see with the education map is it demonstrates not only all the districts in the state of Michigan, but you can focus in on specific districts. And with just a click of a name of a district, it's going to provide you all of the fast facts. It's also going to give you links that'll immediately take you to that particular school district. So that's really a nice inquiry process that you can also obtain on a school district, as well as looking at their profile and some of those key indicators. Next, we move over to the support. Within that particular menu, you're going to find help and support, and then the professional development toolkit that Dr. Parker talked about. Keep in mind that there has been an immense amount of vocabulary added to the Redesign site. So when you're visiting the support menu, there is access to a glossary link, and that glossary has just an abundance of quick resources there that are all accessible by a click away. So it'll help you where to find the information as you're transitioning from the legacy site to the new Redesign site. I'm just going to highlight real quickly with the sign-in process. That is actually the last menu on the top bar. And it allows you to sign in. And what you're going to see when you go to sign in is that pull-down menu. And you want to select My Login for third party. That is how you will get access as a secure user. So again, as Dr. Parker mentioned, if you did not do that migration process through the summer, you will need to take those other steps earlier in order to obtain your new secure user access. And then I'm going to focus a little bit here now on the search feature, which will allow you to locate and expand results based on whatever area of the portal you are considering to search. We found that this is a very helpful tool because of the change in the redesign. And you're also going to find that there's different ways that you can get to information, not just the old way that was maybe like a one-click link, or you had to pull down a menu and that's where it was located. You're going to find that it's in various areas with the redesign. So moving on to the next part of what's new is our current menu. We start with dashboards and education focus areas, early childhood, K-12 grade, student subgroups, post-secondary, and workforce. What you will find different here is special education is now included in the K-12 grade. That's where you will find all the information on special ed. And I always use the rule of thumb that students are, special ed should be a service, not a place. And so it's really nice to see this populated here in the K-12. And then below that, we have new personas that have been developed. And those are focused on educators. They are quick snapshots that may be of interest to educators, to parents, policymakers, or the media. And then whenever you access those, we'll talk more about those later in the broadcast. So I'm going to take you to the navigation bar, and just coincidentally, I talked about that K-12 grade pull down menu, and you will see that special education falls under that to the left under the landing page. But what you are going to see when you pull down any of these menus is most popular, recent updates, and upcoming. Those are going to be the most popular is going to be based on the hits to the site, what has been most popular. What are the recent updates that have happened? And then what is upcoming and new regarding the portal? The next is the featured tools, trending now and featured dashboards. When you look at that, it's really allowing users the direct navigation and explanations of important tools on the portal, and the ones that are updated frequently to keep all of our users informed. So you'll see trending now, the dashboards and the connections. And then also notice that they're still displayed in those wonderful charts and graphs that you've come to know from the previous legacy site. So Dr. Parker talked a little bit about the pinhole reports, and I always think of pinhole reports as we have a new system. We want to bring over our historical data from the old site to the new site. So this is the process that's used to allow us to obtain that data, that historical data. Also keep in mind that with the MyKIP and some of those other state initiatives that we have worked on simultaneously, that data will also be available as we have transitioned to the redesign site. So keep in mind that those reports will still be available for you from the past. And as Dr. Parker mentioned, look at 2020 to be the exhaustion of that legacy site. So the next feature is compare schools, districts, and ISDs. This is also a new feature, and you can see that you're able to compare up to 20 different entities here. And that will start with snapshot and trend reports that you will be able to access it with the compare tool. Next, I'm going to talk about the connections with state initiatives. I mentioned MICIP. Keep in mind that the MISchoolData portal is utilized by various educational entities aligned with our Michigan Strategic Education Plan that has recently been updated. We also have this wonderful guidance and framework for data systems. This document was actually authored by one of our colleagues, Kathy Miller from Shiawassee RESD. And we've also provided a link in there so that you can easily download this form, not necessarily go out to the where it's archived in our site, but you can download this form and have it at your leisure for training purposes as you distinguish what is the data hub, what happens in MISchoolData, and then what is the expectations of our local data warehouse. So again, these different data platforms are part of our framework with our various educational data systems. Speaking of MCIP and the connections that we have, looking at accessing the data through these pinhole reports, these are just some examples. This one in particular is related to early literacy. And so you can see these various reports that will still be available through the MCIP as that platform is developing as well. And then the My Strategy Bank, some districts are part of the My Strategy Bank. Just know that you still will be able to filter and tag based on academic, non-academic, and systems. And that has really been a focus of the MCIP platform. So I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Parker. We'll talk about navigation of menus and personas.
Thank you, Dr. Provost. So we mentioned earlier about what's new, which is kind of a shift in our thinking. We are used to those menus, but we are not sure what these things called personas are. And Rhonda did explain, that the special ed has left the menu land and that personas are something new, but actually it's just a new look on an old, on some old contents. So the menus that you'll see have a new piece of them. Every main menu has a new landing page. So there'll be a early childhood landing page, a K-12 landing page, a student subgroup landing page. Those landing pages, if you're a facilitator of school improvement or you're a facilitator of any kind of training, taking your folks to the landing pages first is a great way to do like one-stop shopping. It lists all of the hot links from anywhere in that private Idaho. Everything that's meaningful on post-secondary is going to be showing up on the landing page. It's a great place to start. Here's an example of the early childhood landing page. Again, all these menus are below it, but the landing page links to every single one of those menus in one-stop shop. When you come into that landing page, notice it's got those headers of the main menu, those submenus, and then you can hyperlink to those reports and you can run an inquiry. Now the submenus you'll see have a usually come right after the landing page. This is an example of the K-12 with the students all the way to the K-12 data files. But they have menus and submenus. There are filters here. You can download and provide feedback just like you have been able to in the past. The key to making this work is clicking on that update report. Now the persona landing pages are brand new to the site, a brand new idea based on the Our Schools at a Glance, which was designed for legislators. Lots of people are coming to the site, and this is based on what is the hat that you wear. So if you're an educator and you come to the educator persona page, there's a lot of hyperlinks and hot links of bringing things into that page, that home page. It's kind of like tailored to your needs. So based on the educator hat, a lot of the hot links on that page are for educators. Shift gears to parents, kind of like the parent dashboard, but the parent persona page has a lot of hyperlinks and direct links to many things that parents are most interested in. And so on with the policymakers and with media. So no matter what spin or what hat that you want to put on the data, these landing pages called persona landing pages are a great place for one-stop shopping based on the hat that you wear. We've hyperlinked in here an example of the educator persona landing page. You'll notice a lot of the key reports that we run, some of the features in the trending now. These are all direct links. It's like a customized homepage for educators. Now, the next section I want to talk about is actually the first part of the menu bar. So dashboards and education focus areas. And this is really evolving. Since the last broadcast, several things have been added to this dashboard and education focus areas. Things have gone live like school grades, annual education report. We've got a new compare tool here. And we've also got a COVID-19 landing page that is launched here in the dashboard and education focus areas. When you come to the landing page, it'll have all the hyperlinks to everything within that part of the system. Here, when you come into the dashboard, you'll see that we've got some of our 30,000-foot views about a school district or a building, from the education dashboard to the Our Schools at a Glance. And here, hot off the press, is the extended COVID-19 learning plan dashboard. This is regularly updated. It just launched in November of 2020. It will have a month-to-month comparison or extension of the learning plans of each of the school districts. It'll show you how many students are remote, hybrid, online, etc. Now, the second section here is the education focus areas. This is where you're going to go to get your district accountability information, as well as that career and college readiness that people like to track with regard to those schools. So if you are looking for annual ed, school grades, anything with regards to accountability, you can get to it through the education focus areas of the dashboard and right here on this hyperlink. Here is the example of that school and district accountability. Again, there are 5 sections to it. The parent dashboard is here, the school index, which is not going to be updated this year, the school grades report, the annual ed report, which is launching here in the next week or so, December 16th, 17th, and due in February, and then the 31A at risk. So this is a direct link to many of the pieces of information or the memos and reports and letters that we are looking for with regards to accountability. We have given you a couple spotlights. For example, the school grades report. If you've not been in there in the last couple of weeks, we've shown you quickly how you can run that. Go into the school grades report. It is a little bit finicky with regard to, you got to click on the little eraser and use the carrots as well as the buttons. So make sure you're checking out this if you are looking to run the school grades report, and make sure that you click on all of the buttons and all the carrots to make it happen. The annual ed report, as I mentioned earlier, the preview, it is in preview right now. It is in preview till the 16th. It will be public on December 17th, and the deadline to post is February 15th. So these are the revised dates for the 2020-2021 school year. The student assessment, it actually will not be included in the report this year. English learner progress has been waived, although it is going to be used in A to F. Your civil rights data is awaiting a refresh. I believe that has been updated and is available. And then there are some other tips and ideas with regards to the annual ed report. Teacher qualifications, accountability, NAEP, and then school improvement funds. I will mention to you that we have loaded our Train the Trainer annual education report slide deck, which goes into great detail. If you're a facilitator that has to present to principals on what is the annual ed report update, or perhaps you're working with your assistants or your SUPs, that we have linked to our technical AER slide deck that will go into further detail about the annual ed report for 2020. This brings me to the COVID-19 dashboard, which I did mention previously, but the COVID-19 learning plan dashboard is brand new on the site. And it's got a great bunch of resources for you to check out with regard to remote learning plans with districts. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Dr. Provost to talk about early childhood.
Great. We will move into early childhood next. Again, just a reminder of the landing page. What you will see is it will pull down all of the options. Notice that this pull down is a little more detailed because it includes the third grade assessment outcomes for early childhood participants, and that does require a secure user login. So if you are an elementary team as well as an elementary leader, you would want to make sure that you have that proper permission to be able to access this data as well. And it's not only academic data or MSTEP data for students that participated in early childhood and then test in third grade. We know that we did not have the testing for the 1920 school year. However, there still is student data in there regarding absenteeism and other trends that you may be of interest. So again, this is the program participation for this particular slide for early childhood. And it was previously the child count, just in case if you were wondering. We still have the same data coming down, but the classifications, the titles have changed on the menu bar. Next, we will move into the continuity of service and special education. That particular pull down allows you to look at service comparisons as well as the service pathways that children have participated in from birth to 3, then from age 3 to kindergarten, and then between kindergarten and third grade. So this is a really nice segue to be able to obtain those reports. Next, we have the absenteeism that I mentioned and early childhood participation. And as you can see, the snapshot here is basically what it will look like at your end before you put that school district name in. So that should be very familiar to you. And basically, we want to look at absenteeism as well as the kindergarten through third grade and what those comparison of students have been. Next, we have the early childhood program participation by kindergarten class. And that was previously in the legacy site kindergarten count data. It basically shows your number of kindergarten students who were reported as participating in early childhood programs prior to their entrance to kindergarten. And then the pathways to kindergarten just shows you exactly that. What was the pathway that the children were enrolled in, as long as it was a public funded early childhood program prior to kindergarten. So again, these are very similar reports from the past, just some new titles. And then lastly, I will talk more explicitly about the third grade assessment outcomes. So really what you will be able to look at here, if you have the secure user access, is the assessment performance, drilling down to that student level data, as well as their comparison. So how did they do? How did they compare if they were in an early childhood program that was, based on the MSTEP testing? So look at those reports. They are very valuable, and they really help you look at the trajectory of a student with ELA and math with their math data.
And that is a permission that does need to be turned on. So those of you that are on the broadcast today or viewing this as a recording, if you do not have that access when you are logged in, that is a request that should come through your ISD administration or ISD technical administrator. They can add that permission to you based on your district's protocols to add that privilege. So we'll shift gears here to K-12. So we've talked about dashboards, we've talked about early childhood. Now we're going to go to the K-12 section of the menu. And the K-12 landing page, obviously, when you come to K-12, you've got the most popular, recent updates and upcoming. And we'll go right next to the K-12 landing page. Guys, this is a great one-stop shop, no matter who you are. I love this, and I love the educator persona page as the two pages that I come to all the time, because it tells me it's those quick clicks to the answers that I need within the portal. The student section, this used to be called student counts, but you're going to find a lot of the same choices in the submenus. You've got graduation and dropout rate, you've got retained and grade, mobility, etc. That is all in that student submenu. There are 5 reports in school accountability. This is a revisit to what you saw just recently in the dashboard. You can get to it in the dashboard and you can get to it here in the K-12 menu. But all the school accountability information is right here in this submenu. State testing, although we, as Dr. Provost mentioned, we did not state test this past year. However, there are historical items here in state testing, as well as going forward, the student growth and etc. So you will find data in the state testing, and this is where it will land once we return to testing. English learner data. The dashboard is actually like a landing page for English learner data. It's a great one-stop shop, but you also, if you're interested in the WIDA or the student growth with regards to EL students, that is available there. Here is the special education submenu that was removed from the main menu bar. It is now part of K-12 because those students are a part of our K-12 population. You will notice that there are certain things that will be additional based on if you are logged in. You will be able to get to a little bit more information in the special ed if you do have those secure privileges. But again, special education, one of the inquiries you might run here would be how many students in my district are on the spectrum for autism? How many students are based on whatever the disability data portrait are available in this section. Career and technical education is here, as well as the post-secondary reports by high school. So a lot of our high school counselors will spend quite a bit of time here in post-secondary as well as CTE. And if you are a career tech ed teacher or you have one on staff, you may want to mention to them that this is available here. It is a wonderful resource for our career and technical ed teachers once they get in here and see. It's got a lot of great stuff. This staffing, if your school improvement teams are looking at staffing, or maybe your principals or your administrative teams, the educator effectiveness, as well as which is teachers and administrators, as well as counts are here. I will make this very clear to you. There are no names in the effectiveness ratings or in any of the data with staffing. You cannot get to teacher or administrator names. It is just a snapshot of effectiveness based on the district. Financial and district school information within the K-12 menu. Again, your school business officials probably use this quite frequently, as well as some of the other acronyms for MDE, but it all gets funneled here in the MISchoolData site, from the revenues to the accounts to their revenue and expenditures and balance sheets. One thing I will mention here, your one-stop shop in financial is the Financial Transparency Dashboard. So if you are just getting your feet wet in MISchoolData and you are interested in school finance, the Financial Transparency Dashboard is a good first place to go. And then lastly, used to be buried in the legacy site. People didn't realize they could download data files from MISchoolData, but here it is on the K-12 menu at the bottom. Go in, see what's available, check your inquiry settings, and it will download your reports. It will send you a confirmation email, and then you can access the file. So that is a great resource that's been brought out from behind the scenes to a prominent place on the K-12 menu. We have given you a spotlight here into what this looks like nowadays. The inquiry settings, gone is that yellow edit report button, but you will definitely need to click on update report. And one thing I will mention to you is this little caret here, the caret up in the top right-hand corner, will collapse and expand your location and report settings. So if you want it to squish, click on the little caret. I'm going to go next to student subgroups. And I'll just throw out that if you guys are having questions as we are moving through, go ahead and use the chat box. I know Dr. Provost is monitoring that, but we have covered dashboard. We've covered early childhood part of the menu. We've covered K-12, and now we're going to take a look at subgroups. Now, subgroups became a new piece of real estate on the menu bar. Dashboards, early childhood, K-12, we now have a new piece of real estate called student subgroups. And this is because each one of these subgroup reports was so popular in the old site that they wanted to give it a prominent home and its own private Idaho. Many of us are running quick reports on race, ethnicity, gender, ELL, military, homeless, foster care, etc. Now these are quick reports that you can generate through that main menu. The navigation of the subgroups is similar to those landing pages. You'll have everything there is to run. Here's the report category, and then click on view reports. You'll also notice that these are just coming up in a random search. Your search results here on the left can also be filtered. So as you move through, you'll notice that the navigation has a common look and feel as what you're used to. And then lastly, don't forget to click Update Report. I have given you an example here of the subgroups. Here is an example of the economically disadvantaged. You'll notice you can just run that search feature, kind of like a Google search, to find it, or use the subgroup menu to find it. So that is subgroups. Shift gears again to post-secondary. The post-secondary is the 5th stop on the menu bar. Post-secondary designed for higher ed folks or your high school counselors who are interested in knowing a little bit more about where your high schoolers went to college. You can do that in the K-12 menu, or you can do it in the post-secondary. The post-secondary landing page, again, will give you that look and feel by college or university or by high school, which I think is a really nice addition here, especially for counselors, since they're kind of looking at it in 2 different ways. We've given you a spotlight on one of the most popular examples here, the college data files. When you download this, just like if you download to a K-12 data file, these data files come into your school issued email address. You cannot enter a personal email address. It will look to verify your identity based on your MyLogin third party. So make sure that you are using your school issued email that connects to your MyLogin third party. So the last stop on the workforce is on the menu bar is workforce. So we've gone dashboard and education, early childhood, K-12, student subgroups, post-secondary. The last stop on the train is workforce. Workforce is another popular site for districts looking at snapshots for economic growth, connecting to business officials. We've got school boards looking at where our students are going after. Are they going to military? Are they going to the workforce? Are they going to post-secondary? There's a lot of follow-up studies that are done within this section. And this is really evolving since the old legacy site. Not only can you see entry-level wages over time or median wages, wage information, but you can also look at fields of study or what got them to the workforce. The landing page, again, is common to what you have seen before, with one-stop shopping based on all of the main menus or all the submenus. And one of the things that we spotlighted here in the workforce is based on the annual wages for educational attainment based on high school career tech ed programs. So you'll see there are filter settings that you can go in and dig deeper to find out what is it that what is the type of education they've had and what kind of wages are they making based on that education. So that was the lightning speed round tour. I'm going to turn it back to Dr. Provost to talk us through some closing steps.
All right. Well, as we wrap up today's session on getting started, as Dr. Parker had mentioned, we also presented this broadcast back on October 15th. And if some of you attended that, as you can see, there have been a number of changes. So all of our courses within the TTT Train the Trainer network, we keep those courses updated as information is released so that you have the latest and greatest from the site. So we're hoping that of the 1,000 reports and report combinations that are available in the MISchoolData portal, that you're able to take advantage of them. We hope that this slide deck really helped you with familiarizing to the various menus and the new structure of the portal. I think Dr. Parker did a very nice job demonstrating those landing pages and the pull down menus. And really that will help you navigate as you learn more on the access and inquiry whenever you're looking at reports. Further guidance, we also have data digs and such, and that will be, those are evolving as well as we are aligning to the redesign site. Your contact information on a regional level, these members are part of the regional advisory group that represent our wonderful state. And they are by blue, green, red, orange, and purple. And we highly recommend that you contact them if you need further information regarding any training, or if you have questions for your own service area. These would be your contacts. We also want to point out that we have webinars scheduled for the 2020-21 school year. These are all 1 hour in 1 hour increments based on topic. And some of them we only have a few that are repeats, such as the Getting Started, because that's really the first level of understanding the portal. And then our other sessions are more specific to content. So please feel free, the links are there. We have those posted through February 10th. However, if you click the 2021 webinar series, you will see those all in its entirety. So we highly encourage you. As Dr. Parker mentioned at the beginning of the session today, we do have sketches available for all of our webinars this year. If you click the link, you will see that there is already names populated there, but that's because the session is the same number as the one we broadcasted on October 15th. So don't think you're in the wrong document. We already tested that earlier today. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Angie Churio. She's at Macomb ISD, and she will be able to guide you if you have any questions. Again, we thank you for attending today's broadcast on behalf of the professional development team of the MISchoolData portal. Resources here are available on the toolkit. If you have any technical questions, we had slides in there regarding logins and such, especially related to the early childhood permissions. Feel free to reach out to your technical contact. For My Login Third Party, we have a link there to visit the My Login help page. And as always, any other questions, please feel free to contact Dr. Jennifer Parker at Macomb or Kathleen Miller at Shiawassee RESD. So on behalf of our entire network, we thank you for attending today. And we have monitored the chat, so I think we're good there. And we hope that you all have a wonderful holiday as well as staying healthy and safe. Thank you.